Hello everybody, my name is Mathis and welcome to the Judge Mathis channel. A while ago now, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I did a couple of videos. I talked about how I was kind of just starting a big box PC collection. Then I did a follow-up video with some fan mail where one viewer in particular hooked me up with like 2 boxes filled with big box PC games to kind of jumpstart my collection, as well as some other fan stuff that has come in from here and there as donations to the collection, and my own typical little purchases and hunts as I've gone out looking for things that catch my eye. And I said I'd do more update videos on the collection as it made sense to me. Not something I would do every week or every month, but sporadic and when it felt like there was enough stuff that I've picked up that I deemed worth talking about. So that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be an update on the big box PC collection, what I've ended up, or at least things that I've considered notable that I've picked up, and talk about why I've picked them up, as well as couple it with an announcement. So let's get to the announcement first. It's pretty simple. I am going to be at PAX South this weekend. Normally a video on Judge Mathis goes live on a Friday, but because I'm going to be gone, I'm going to be at PAX South this coming Friday. I'm going to be putting this video up a little earlier, not only because I won't be home to get it up on a normal time, but also because if you're going to be at PAX South and you want to say hi and you have no idea I'm going to be there, hopefully this video will give you that information before you guys end up showing up. Alright, let's get to the good stuff, the big box PC collection stuff. So I'm still relatively new to this big box PC collection. My collection has grown by, you know, leaps and bounds. Probably, since I started collecting and did that very first video, it's probably grown by 4 or 5 times its normal initial size, maybe more, and I'm just not realizing it. And it has absolutely been something that I have not gotten bored of in any way. There's just something special about big box PC games. They're box games in general, just as a whole. This is all going to be old PC stuff with the exception of 2 games, and I'm going to actually start off with one that I picked up a little while ago. I knew I wanted to pick it up, I just didn't know when I was going to pick it up, and the price just got reduced, so I decided to grab it right then and there. And I say new game, but, you know, quote-unquote new game, and that is Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, I really don't pick up new games very often. In fact, for the most part, I kind of avoid them because there's just not a lot of good box copies out there. They're usually that DVD case with a download code or something inside, not even a CD. It's just pointless. But GTA 5's box is sleek. It's pretty big. It's got a bunch of stuff in it, including a map and all the CDs and the soundtrack. It's kind of what you would get maybe during that clamshell era of box PC games when the boxes were all uniform, but they were still big enough to hold a bunch of stuff in it. But the way it opens up and the way it unfolds, it's really, really cool. And I haven't opened it. I don't know if I ever will. I probably won't. I have no reason to because I have GTA 5 on like 4 different platforms. But I wanted this in my PC collection because they just don't see boxes like this anymore. It's a special occasion when a PC game gets a full box release. And this isn't like a collector's edition or anything. This is just how they released the physical version of GTA 5 for the PC. So I was super excited to pick this up. Another game I actually talking about this reminded me of, and I don't know if I've talked about it yet on the channel, but this is something I'll retouch on. That is a special edition of something that I actually got on clearance. There was only one of them, and my guess, it was at Target, and my guess is they had extras in the back, and they, you know, had to get rid of them because of inventory. Because this is worth 150 bucks now, and I got it for 30 bucks maybe 3 or 4 months ago. Because it was on clearance and they were just getting rid of it, was the Elder Scrolls Anthology. This has Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim with all of the DLCs that go to any game that has DLC. Obviously, Arena and Daggerfall don't necessarily have it. It has maps for every single one of the games, an entire world map, and it's a gorgeous steelbook on the inside. Again, something I will probably never open because I own all the games. But just to have this in the collection is also really cool. So they still do make really neat modern PC box games. They're just really, really rare. They don't do it very often, or when they do it, it's actually just something that is for a special occasion, like the anthology set for Elder Scrolls. That's it for my modern PC games. There's still one more modern game I'm gonna touch on, but I do want to start getting to the bulk of what I would consider kind of the stuff that I've picked up recently, stuff that I'm excited to have and stuff that I'm excited to talk about. It's not even silly, it's a good game. I actually ended up getting Ultimate SpiderMan for the PC. This is a game I played, and the box is a little dinged up, it's not in great shape, but I actually played this way back on the PS2 and the Xbox. Really great open world Spider-Man game, maybe second right after Spider-Man 2. This was not something I was actively looking for. This came bundled with the game I'm going to talk about in a little bit that I wanted, and the guy on eBay was selling the game I was looking for, plus like 4 other games, none of which I was really looking for, but worth grabbing for like 19 bucks. And it was well worth it. To me, it was well worth grabbing. The next one I'm going to talk about, actually, I just got from a fan. They donated it to the collection. He said that his kid was getting of the age where they're getting into everything, and before it got ruined, he wanted to get it to somewhere that would keep it safe and take care of it. And it's a game I think a lot of people my age, and probably a lot more younger and older, really were excited for and really were looking forward to when it came out, and were pretty disappointed with it. But looking back on it over 10 years later, the game wasn't a bad game. It just never really lived up to expectations. It was still a fun game, and maybe some of you already guessed what I'm talking about here, but that game is Spore, and he hooked me up with the Spore Galactic Edition. This case is incredibly cool. It's all kinds of engraved, and it has all these little symbols all over it. It comes with the art of Spore, and this really, really cool case for Spore. There's the National Geographic thing that comes with it. It's like I don't know what this is for, to separate the book and the case, I guess. And the art of Spore is just, it's a hardcover book, which is awesome. You don't get that very often. I really love the case. I actually played a good chunk of Spore. I actually really liked Spore when it came out. I know it wasn't exactly what people were hoping for, but there were aspects of it that I liked, and I'm all about kind of big open-world sandbox games. And while the space aspect is people's least favorite, I did have some fun with the space aspect of the game. Obviously, the creature creator is probably the best aspect of Spore. It's so open and free, and it's really funny, and you can make countless penis monsters if that's your thing, and that's what a lot of people do. Next up is actually a game I never played. Well, it's a sequel to a game that I played, but I never played the sequel. Unopened still. I might actually end up opening this one. We'll see. MDK 2. MDK is a weird game. I don't remember much about the first game, other than I definitely played it, and I definitely played it on the PlayStation 1. I'm almost positive. It's really hard to forget the main character that you play as with this weird, like, biosuit that you can glide around in. It's an action-adventure shooter. This allows you to play all 3 of the characters, the doctor, the dog with the guns, the dog with 4 arms and guns, and then obviously the main character here. I had memories of this game, of the first one, not the second one, and I was like, I'm gonna grab it because it looked like it was in really good shape, and it is. The box is in immaculate condition. Like, this is a really well-kept game. MDK 2 is just a strange game that if you are into kind of action arcadey shooters, you might want to look into. So I actually picked up this next one pretty blind. I'm a massive Star Trek fan. I probably watch The Next Generation once a year on average, the whole series, if I find the time. I love Star Trek so much. I grew up on TNG, really love Deep Space Nine, have a fondness for the original series, though since I didn't really grow up with it, that kind of campiness, excuse me, hiccup, that kind of campiness just doesn't work on me too well. Not a huge fan of the new movies, but that's beside the point. I picked up Star Trek Starfleet Command. The name rings a bell, but that's the extent of it. You gotta remember, I was mostly a console gamer as a kid, but this looks like it's a kind of command your own ship tactics game in a way that, like, commanding a ship on the water kind of tactics game would be. You can experience 30-year campaign that takes you from lieutenant to commander of a frigate to a rear admiral in control of a task force, including destroyers, heavy cruisers, and dreadnoughts. So yeah, it seems like a tactics game. It looks like a tactics game. One of those things that I just saw, and I already have one of my favorite Star Trek games ever, Bridge Commander. I played a bunch of Bridge Commander as a kid. I don't know how I got a hold of that game. I just know I did. Really liked it. So I saw Starfleet Command, not knowing much about it, and decided that I had to have it. So why don't we start with a classic that I have really fond memories of. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the stuff I end up buying is stuff because I have an interesting memory associated with it, or there's a huge nostalgia trip associated with it. This is a game that I'm going to show that is a classic by everyone's standards. You can see it right here on camera. I have incredible memories playing the demo for this game over and over and over again and never playing the full game, and that is Populist: The Beginning. An amazing god game by Bullfrog. Of course it's by Bullfrog. Completely well known for their godlike games, management games, their absurd sense of humor. Bullfrog games are classics, and they've just... It blows my mind that one studio can do classic after classic after classic, like Theme Hospital, Populous, you know, Dungeon Keeper. They were just knocking it out of the park almost every single time they stepped up to bat. And this is another example of Bullfrog just being incredible at their craft. And it's such a shame that they don't exist anymore, because I bet you if those people were still together, they could be doing incredible things. Next up is a game I actually just got in, and I had heard of, had seen people play, but never played myself. And when I say see people play, I don't mean like a let's play and I saw the whole game and it got spoiled for me, but just a game that I had seen clips of and people talk about before. And it's a weird like point and click adventure RPG, and that is Sanitarium by ASC Games and Dreamforge Entertainment. Not entertainment, entertainment. Sanitarium looks like one of those games that I would really, really, really enjoy for its weirdness. And this might be a Halloween Judge Mathis special at some point in the future. But the box is awesome. This box like jumped out at me immediately. There's just something really simple but striking about just the guy's eye and bandage wrap. Like, looks like he's in panic. The name, the Sanitarium, the title is in really cool font. Really, really love it. And then obviously it's a gatefold box, and the inside doesn't show any of the game. It's just creepy imagery, which is awesome. This is another one though that I think I'll be diving into come Halloween. So the next two, I'll knock them both out because they're both kind of the same game. They're Blizzard classics. One of the things I really want to do is start knocking out Blizzard classics over time, because I just want to have the whole Blizzard library. It's going to be kind of an expensive venture because a lot of the older Blizzard games, like Original Warcraft, Complete in Box, and I owned that on the 3.5-inch floppy disk. They're just going to be kind of pricey. I'll eventually get around to it, but I grabbed the first full game, and that was the Diablo game, and it's in a big box. It's kind of a weird square box. Played a ton of Diablo 2 when I was growing up. Played this game so much. Played a little bit of Diablo 1, but it was Diablo 2, and I think that's probably true for a lot of people. Diablo 2 is where they jumped in first. And then I went back and played Diablo 1, and was like, no, Diablo 2 is a lot better. And, you know, true to Blizzard style, box is beautiful. Opens up really cool, shows like just a big gatefold of the game so you know what you're getting. And alongside it, I obviously picked up the expansion. This is the Lord of Destruction expansion pack, 2 new classes and new bosses and continuing the story. Diablo is one of those games that nowadays I enjoy for what it is, but the gameplay loop of murdering countless nameless things with very little thought, kind of brainless, and then looting and then doing the same thing over and over again isn't really my cup of tea anymore. But back when I was a kid, there's the Diablo 2, man. God, I played so much Diablo 2, and it's kind of almost my first MMO-esque experience being able to play online through Battle.net. So, and that might be true for a lot of people. Really like Diablo though, and it's really nice to have that on the shelf displaying. And then a couple more classics to add to my Star Wars collection of PC games, and was happy to pick these up as well. I'll go ahead and show both. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 complete in box. The Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1, the box is actually thicker than most PC boxes. If you do kind of a side-by-side comparison, you might be able to see. Arguably, now with the mods out for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, and by the mods I mean one specific mod, and that was the Restoration mod, where they found all the unfinished parts of the game in the game's code and finished it, and then put it up as a mod. Arguably, Knights of the Old Republic 2 is a better game. Man, it's so interesting to think about these games and when I ended up playing them, because this was before the internet spoiled everything, and you couldn't turn a page without seeing spoilers. And I remember the spoiler, and if you've never played Knights of the Republic, God, just go play it. Stop listening to me talk and go play this game. It's incredible. Even today, I bet it's pretty damn good. I'm looking forward to playing through it at some point. But I remember when the big twist came in Knights of the Republic 1, and I didn't see it coming from a mile away. I had no idea that was the twist. And when it happened, it blew my mind. It was so good and made me rethink the whole story, and God, that was such a cool twist. But I say that specifically because I think the overall story in Knights of the Republic 2 is way better. It's Obsidian, and that kind of makes sense. Obsidian is they're the sequel masters. They make a lot of sequels to games or franchises that aren't theirs and tell better stories than the original, but they're always buggy, broken, unfinished messes And that holds true for Knights of the Old Republic 2 when it first launched. I think the story was way better, but it was a broken, buggy, unfinished mess. The next game is actually a game I'm playing over on my Let's Play channel over at youtube.com/MathisGames. It's a game that I was looking for a while in box, complete in box, and I couldn't find it. Eventually, I found it deep in the kind of just the burrows of eBay for $9, and I was the only one to bid on it, and I was crossing my fingers nobody else found it and didn't bid on it. It had been sitting in storage for over 20 or close to 20 years, I think, because of how old the game is. And I got it, I won it for $9, and that is the prequel to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and that is Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. It came out before Bloodlines, though I don't know if it's directly connected to Bloodlines. I haven't beaten the game yet, we're going to find out. And this box is beautiful. I love it. It's in mint immaculate condition. It opens up and shows the game as it normally would, and it's kind of a mix between real-time RPG and your old school CRPGs with click-based movement and combat. Truth be told, the story is pretty dang good, but the gameplay is a hot mess, and I can see why people kind of have a love-hate relationship with this game. From people that played it when it first came out, they say they loved it, but the gameplay it just doesn't hold up well anymore for a lot of reasons that I'm not going to go into here because I've been keeping notes and I will be probably doing a Judge Mathis on it at some point. But the box is cool. It's really nice to have it in my collection, and it's a weird box because it opens up like a cereal box. There's a pull tab that you rip open in order to get into the inside of the box. And I was talking about it on Twitter when I got the box, and somebody on Twitter said it's probably one of those ancient DRMs where once the game is open, you can't return it anymore. And a lot of people back in the late 90s, early 2000s were buying or renting PC games, burning them on their own CD, and then returning them for full price because there just was a good DRM to stop that from happening. That, you know, if you rip this open and open it, then there's no return policy kind of thing, and they don't have to take the game back for money back. So, kind of an interesting relic, you know, just this one little tab at the top of the box has a potential story as to why that exists, what its purpose was, but it makes it look like a frickin' cereal box. And for that, I absolutely love it. The next Vampire game, I'm just gonna knock out the next three all back to back to back. Is one that I already reviewed here on the channel, and I talked about it a little bit on the video. So you've probably seen me talk about it, and I won't belabor the point too much, but that's Legacy of Kain Blood Omen. This was a pain to find as a collector. There was evidence that there was complete in-box versions of this game, but the only ones I could find were the jewel case PS1 copies and just the jewel case of the CD that was apparently sold more commonly than the full box of the game was. Finally found it on Amazon from a seller who had no pictures for $30. I asked them to send me pictures and make sure it was complete in box and I would buy it from them. They luckily did, and I picked it up. And I'm really happy to have it because this is a cool box. I like it a lot. It's kind of a weird shape, but mostly because this game was a pain to find. And every so often I'll look on eBay to see if it exists out there, and I can't find it. Going along in that series is the next game that I plan on reviewing on the channel, and that's Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. I played a ton of this game on the PS1 when I was a kid, loved it a lot, never beat it. It was too hard for my poor little boy brain to handle, but the box art is gorgeous. The PC was the best looking copy. The PC edition was the best looking edition out there at the time. Because it was published by Eidos, you got the trapezoid box that opens from bottom to top, which shows Raziel and his silly looking decayed body, and that's just his art style. Just a really, really neat box, and I love green. Green is like one of my favorite colors. Judge Mathis, green is the theme. But another neat box to display. Remember when I talked about SpiderMan? This was the game I bought that came with that in the bundle. Blood Omen 2. The only version, I don't know what it is about the Blood Omen games, but the only box copy I could find was in that, and I've been looking for a while, was in that bundle, where it was just selling like 2 PS2 games, the SpiderMan PC game, and I think he sold something else that I probably have lying around. This was crazy hard to find, super difficult to find, but I got it. It's in okay condition. There's a couple stickers that I'm gonna need to goog on to get rid of this, and there's one on the side over here. Notoriously, it's supposedly a pretty bad game, and I'm excited to tackle it and find out as to why that is. And then obviously the only one I'm missing now out of this is I'm missing Soul Reaver 2 and Defiance after that. And then I'll have the whole Legacy of Kain series in PC in box. And I'm actually excited because that'll be, if I can finish this first, that'll be my first finished collection of a series boxed on PC. So fingers crossed. All right, this is the last one. This isn't a PC game, this is a console game, and I only picked it up, and I didn't plan on it, but I circled it a bunch when I was in the store, and I just grabbed it, and they're all out now. I can't find any of them. And I picked it up because the first one of this game, once it was sold out everywhere, you really didn't see it anymore, and it is incredibly difficult to find, and it was a great game. So I picked this one up. I don't know if I'll ever open up this copy, but I might play a digital copy of it at some point when I have time. It's a JRPG, the time is hard to come across. And that is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Special Edition, still in the plastic because I'm that kind of weirdo. This is kind of my shame purchase. I bought this because I wanted to have it and display it, and to say I have one, because they're already sold out at my local store. Now, we live in an age of digital distribution, and you can download it anytime, any place you want, as long as you buy it on your Switch through the marketplace. But to get a physical copy of the game, I did this with the Zelda one as well when that came out, is really nice. And this box is gorgeous. It's big, it's super heavy, it has a steel art book inside, and a steel case, and a soundtrack, and all the things you'd want in a collector's edition. But I love the art, and I just love the aesthetic of this box, and I had to grab it for my own needy, weird, like, I gotta have it kind of collector's tick that I had, and I grabbed it. I'm not ashamed, man. I mean, it's my shameful purchase, but I'm not ashamed. And that's it. This PC box collecting thing has been really fun for me. To have like 3 bookshelves now full of, well, almost full. I gotta still fill this one up for the most part. Filling up rather with just history, and being able to look at it like my own personal library, and really kind of go down memory lane and really feel like I'm preserving something here is awesome. And I know it's not everybody's thing, and I know a lot of people don't care, but it's just something that has brought me a lot of joy over the past almost 7 or 8 months, maybe a little longer now than that. And I'm super happy to continue doing it. It's been something that I've enjoyed. Thank you to everybody who's donated to the collection. I have a couple of work projects that people have donated that are complete in-box games, but the box themselves need some work, and I've been working on those in my spare time when I can. It's weird. It's something that it's like my away kind of off-camera hobby. Granted, I'm putting it on camera, but, you know, most of the time I'm just, you know, this is my own personal enjoyment and my enthusiasm for video games in general, games that I grew up with and games that I missed out on because I was too young or didn't have a PC. It's a passion, and that's really the only word that aptly describes how I feel about this and doing this and collecting. So thank you for allowing me to share this with you, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. There's just something special about this kind of thing, and maybe I'll do more videos about, you know, just the general physicality of these boxes and why they did it and what came in them, but all those are just kind of floating ideas in my mind right now. I don't really have the time to do it, but when I can, I will happily share. If you guys have any questions at all, feel free to check out and ask them in the comment section below. I will answer them when I have time and I'm back from PAX South. A big thank you to my Patreon supporters. If you are interested in checking out my Patreon, there's a Patreon link in the description below, different reward tiers and stuff. And I'm going to be doing some Patreon question and answer videos very, very soon. So if you ever want to ask me anything about what it's like to do the review, or how I go about my process, or my collection, or video games in general, that's a really easy way to do it if you're a Patreon member. If not, like I said, throw them in the comment section below, and I'm going to try to get to what I can as fast as I can when I get back from my trip. If you're going to be at PAX South, I hope to see you guys there. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.